Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So today is a book haul. In April, I ended up picking up around 20-ish books. Now, this of course doesn't include anything I picked up at the thrift store because I do save those for my thrift store hauls, but this is everything else basically. So I have some audiobooks that I'll start with that I grabbed off of Audible. There are some middle grade books here, just some random stuff. There's some graphic novels in here as well, which I'm really excited to share. So just a lot of kind of random things in here that I ended up finding over the course of the last month or so. So I am really excited to share with you guys everything that I picked up in the book world. So let's not waste any time at all. I have about 20 or so books to talk about. So let's dive right into my April 2021 book haul. Starting with the audiobooks, Audible had a couple different sales during the month of April. The first one was a 2-for-1 credit sale, and so I ended up picking up two books there. The first one is called Sea of Rust, written by C. Robert Cargill. So this one has, first off, it has an amazing cover, and it just sounded like something I would really enjoy. It is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi story. I think one of the things I read described it as like a robot western, which sounds really interesting. Basically, we are like 30 years after the apocalypse, and then 15 years after the last human, or after like an apocalyptic event, I guess, and then 15 years after the last human was killed at the hands of a robot, and we are following this robot scavenger making his way across this like deserted world. So it checks a lot of boxes on things that interest me, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. So this is, like I said, I picked this up off of Audible for a 2-for-1 credit sale, so really excited to get to this one. It's not terribly long, only about 10 and a half hours. So shouldn't take too long to get to this. And I imagine I'll do this pretty quickly, maybe even this month, even though I didn't have it on my TBR. Once I finish what I already have on there, I might put this one on next because it sounds really, really cool. So excited for this one. So the first one I picked up is Sea of Rust, written by C. Robert Cargill. The second book I got in that 2-for-1 credit sale is called People Who Eat Darkness, and this one was written by Richard Lloyd Perry. So this is a true crime book that I've actually already finished. It was really well done. Basically, we are following the murder of this British woman, girl, really. I think she was early 20s, and she ended up being murdered in Japan. She worked as like a hostess, which... it's not like a prostitute. Basically, like it's these girls who they go and have conversations with these men, and then things can happen from there that, you know, you might consider prostitution, but whatever. I'll leave it at that, I guess. And so we're following her murder and trying to figure out who did it and why, essentially. So this was a really well-written true crime story that if you are into true crime, I would definitely recommend it. I will mention, though, there is a ton of history of Japan in this, both with like the hostesses, which are really kind of an extension of like a geisha of sorts. And then also they talk a little bit about like the Japanese Yakuza. So this was a really interesting story, and it's a solved crime too, which I thought was different than what I normally read. So I really enjoyed this one. Another one that's not too terribly long and for true crime fans. So if you are into that genre, which I don't even like calling it a genre, but if you are a true crime addict like myself, then I definitely recommend this one. So this one is one I picked up last month, and I actually finished last month. So that's always a good thing. And I have one more like that as well. But so that one is People Who Eat Darkness, written by Richard Lloyd Perry. And that is the other one I got in that 2-for-1 sale. But later on in the month, Audible also had a $6 sale for a ton of nonfiction books, amongst other things. So let's talk about those two that I grabbed during that sale next. So let's talk about the one that I've already finished, and this one is called Slugfest, written by Reed Tucker. So this is the story of the fight between DC and Marvel. I think the tagline is like, inside the 50-year battle between Marvel and DC. So this is a book about comics history, about the two titans in the comic industry, and their battle over the last 50 plus years now. So if you know a ton about the history of these two companies, then you might not get a lot out of this, but as someone who knew virtually nothing about either the history of their companies, I thought this one was really interesting. Now, admittedly, some of this information went in one ear and right out the other, but I still did pick up some interesting tidbits along the way, and it gave me a whole new respect for both of these companies. Now, there is a Marvel how should I say it? Like, it does slant towards Marvel. The author states in the introduction that he doesn't have a horse in this battle. It doesn't, he doesn't prefer one or the other. He really reads independent comics now. So, but that said, just reading the book, you definitely tell there is a Marvel slant to it. So keep that in mind going in. If you know it going in, I knew it coming in because it was in all the reviews, and they weren't lying. It definitely, favors Marvel, but it's still interesting either way you cut it. So I really enjoyed this one, and it's another one I recommend if you are someone who just wants to know more about the history of these two companies, because you might not know a ton like myself. I would definitely recommend this one. So Slugfest, Inside the 50-Year Battle Between Marvel and DC by Reed Tucker is the first one I grabbed, and that was one that was on sale for $6. And so there was another one I picked up for $6 as well. So let's talk about that one now. The other sale item I picked up from Audible, and the last audiobook I grabbed last month, is called George Lucas, written by Brian J. Jones, and you probably understand what this one's about. This is a biography about the filmmaker George Lucas. So this one had a ton of really good reviews. It's supposed to be like the definitive biography about George Lucas. So as someone who is a big Star Wars fan, and I know so little about kind of the history of George Lucas and what sparked Star Wars and things like that, like, I am super intrigued to check this one out. So this is another one I'm going to put closer toward the top of the list. It is a little bit longer, and frankly, can't even tell you the last time I've listened to a biography. I don't even know that I ever have on audiobook. Of course, I've read some in the past for school and whatnot, but not a ton of bios, especially in the audiobook form. So I am really interested to see if this one is going to keep my attention or not. So for $6, I figured I'd pick it up because it is about one of my favorite filmmakers out there. So I figured this one would be pretty interesting. And this man has led just a remarkable life. So I am super intrigued to kind of hear it from the ground up. So super interested with this one, and excited to get to it. So this one was George Lucas, and I forget the author's name as I'm sitting here, but it was Brian J. Jones is who wrote this one. So those were the 4 audiobooks that I picked up last month. So now let's move over to some of the physical books I grabbed. So this first one isn't even one that I bought. I actually found this one at my parents' house recently. So this is my sister's old book called Downsiders, written by Neal Shusterman. So Neal Shusterman is a relatively new name to me because of his, Arc of a Scythe? I think that's the name of that trilogy. It's a very famous trilogy. I have not read it yet, but I really want to. It's a YA series. But turns out he has a ton of books to his name, and I always find random ones at the thrift store and whatnot. This one I found randomly at my parents' house. So I need to read one of his books, and this one sounded pretty good. This one is about these people who are called downsiders. They live beneath the streets of New York. It sounds like there's, some commentary on class and things like that. So I am interested in checking this one out. Just the location itself sounds really interesting to me, living underneath New York. So that sounds cool. But yeah, so intrigued to check this one out. Don't know much about it other than that. So very happy to add this one to the collection, even though it wasn't one I bought. I just grabbed it from my parents, but either way, it's now mine. So Downsiders, written by Neal Shusterman, is the first physical book I grabbed. Next up is one from a series that I've been showing you guys for the past few months here because I've been picking them up as they release. So the latest one is the Disney Chills book number 4, as you can see right there. And this one is called Be Careful What You Wish For, written by Vera Strange. Of course, F-U-R is the last word there. So this is a middle grade series in the style of Goosebumps that takes like a well-known Disney property and turns it a little bit on its head and gives you a different Goosebumps-ish story. So I really enjoyed the one I've read from the series so far. I do have some catching up to do. As you can tell, this is book number 4. I still have to read 2, 3, and 4 in order to be caught up, but happy to add these to the collection as they come out. They're so cheap because they're middle grade books. I find them for like $5 or $6. Like the cover price is $7. You can usually get it pretty cheap if you go to like a Walmart or a Meijer or something. So yeah, very happy to have these in the collection, even if I haven't gotten to all of them yet. And they always have like this weird art on the inside. It's like foggy pages or smoky pages. I don't know. It's odd, but it's there. So yeah, if you guys have read the others of these, please let me know if you like this series, because I think it's pretty fun for the first one I read anyway. So excited to continue this one on. Of course, this one takes place in the 101 Dalmatians universe, so should be pretty cool. I love that movie. So yes, Disney Chills, book number 4, Be Careful What You Wish For, written by Vera Strange. If you guys keep up with a lot of my thrift store hauls, you might remember this one that I showed relatively recently here, but this is a book series that I'd never heard of. I found it at the thrift store. This is called Book of the Dead, but it's the Universal Monsters. It's like a middle grade series based on the Universal Monsters, and this one is about the Mummy, and these are all written by Larry Mike Garman. So you can see here that this is book number 4, and I mentioned, hey, if I can find these, like I want to have all of these. Well, eBay can sometimes just be a wonderful place. So I was able to find book number 1, which is based on Dracula. This is called The Return of Evil. Book number 2, which is based on The Wolfman, Blood Moon Rising. Book number 3, Anatomy of Terror, which is based on Frankenstein. Book number 5, which is based on Creature from the Black Lagoon, called Blackwater Horror. And finally, the last book in the series, book number 6, Vow of Vengeance, based on Bride of Frankenstein. So I was able to find all of these books in the series. So now I have 1 through 6, which, like I said, is everything. So I am so happy that I was able to find these. And it wasn't like I bought them all in a lot or anything. I was able to find all of them from different sellers. They just happened to be on eBay, and they weren't too expensive. Like I paid maybe about $5 a book for those. So like less than $20, I think, or maybe less than 25. I have the entire series of a book series I didn't even know existed until the past couple months here. So this was one of the cooler finds this past month in the world of books. I cannot wait to dive into these. My buddy saw them in my video and he was interested in them as well. He was able to get all 6 of them too off of eBay. So he's actually started reading them and he really enjoyed them. So I am super excited for these. Like I love having the complete collection of a run like this. And the fact that these are all based off of the Universal Monster movies, which I love. This is awesome. So I am so happy that I was able to find this. Thank you, eBay, for being good to me with these ones. And they're all in relatively good shape as well. You saw Dracula has a little bend there, but it's not bad. Like these are all listed well and, treated well before they got to me. So I am so happy to have these. So books 1 through 6 of the Universal Monsters middle grade series. Again, if you guys have read these, let's talk about it a little bit in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Did you like them? Did you hate them? What are your thoughts? Let me know on these. These are so cool either way. But yeah, so like I said, these are all written by Larry Mike Garman. So happy to have all 6 of the Universal Monster books in my physical media collection now. Let's jump over to the graphic novels I found. And I think 99% of these are from Ollie's, so gotta love Ollie's. The first one is Silk, and this one is written by Thompson, Lee, Martello, and Ford. And this is actually volume number 0, which is called The Life and Times of Cindy Moon. So honestly, I didn't know anything about this graphic novel series, about this character at all, but I guess it's like a female Spider-Man. So I am super interested in checking it out. This one contains issues 1 through 7 of Silk. So yeah, very intrigued to see how this one is. I have not heard any reviews on it, but the art style is pretty good. So I don't know. We'll see if this one's any good or not. For like the $3 I paid for it, I'm definitely willing to check it out. So Silk Volume 0, The Life and Times of Cindy Moon, a really cool find from Ollie's. These next two are Batman related, and the first one here is Asriel, Volume 1, Fallen Angel. So I don't know what the connection is between Batman and Asriel, but I just don't know enough about the history of the comic to know that. But I am intrigued to check this one out. You can see obviously Batman is in this one, and this takes place in Gotham, I believe, because it's in Batman's world, it says here. There's a new hero. So this one looks really cool. The art style looks really good as well as I was flipping through it. So I'm hoping I enjoy this one. It looks really awesome. This one contains like 5, 8, 10 different issues or so. It has Sword of Asriel 1 through 4, which is actually a Batman comic, and then Showcase 94 number 10 and Asriel number 1 through 7. So 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's about a dozen in here, which is always cool. So yeah, really good price on this one. This was like $4 or $5, and it looks awesome. So of course I had to pick it up. I love Batman, so the more I can read about Batman, the better. So yeah, interested in this one. Asriel Volume 1, Fallen Angel. This next one is super cool. I am so excited for this. This is Batman Gothic. This is the deluxe edition. So this is a Grant Morrison book. And though I don't have like the best track record with Morrison's work, I'm still just excited that I was able to find this one for like the $7 or $8 it was. It's so cheap. And it passes the hardcover test. So yeah, this looks awesome. So I think this takes place in like, it's not a canon story at all. It's kind of like an alternate reality one, if I remember right from what I've heard about it. But yeah, it looks awesome. So yeah, very intrigued to check this one out. Should be really fun. Grant Morrison obviously is super popular and well known and respected, though I find him a little bit confusing. Hopefully this one will be one that I enjoy. So very excited to add this one to the collection. Batman Gothic, the deluxe edition in hardcover. A very cool find from Ollie's. In the last graphic novel series I was able to find, I kind of piecemealed it together through multiple Ollie's stops, and then even one issue one volume I had to grab off of eBay. So yeah, I'm really excited about this because I've always heard excellent things, and I know this. At least it wasn't when I had Marvel Unlimited. It was not available on there digitally. You had to buy it separate. So I've been wanting to track this down and read it for the longest time. And finally, I have all 4 volumes. So this is the complete series of this. I am talking about Jessica Jones Alias. And this is from their like Max line. So you know it's going to be more adult themed, which I'm all about. So yeah, this is volume 1. And then we have volume 2. Volume 3, and finally Volume 4. So very excited about this. I think so volumes 1, 3, and 4 I found at Ollie's, so check yours, you might get lucky. Volume 2 I had to get off of eBay. So this has a story with it. So this one is pretty, if you can see, it's like it came water damaged. It came in very poor packaging. It was raining for days prior to it arriving, and it does have a little bit of water damage. Now, mind you, it's readable, but this was listed as in very good condition, and this is far from very good in my opinion. Again, you can tell it better when you're actually holding it in your hand. It's just not in the best shape, but I can read it, so there's that. I'm not going to buy a new one or anything, but the rest of these are in brand new shape. So anyway, I contacted the eBay seller saying, hey, like, what can we do here? This is not in good shape. And so they said, we'll send you, pick another book about the same price and we'll send it to you. So I ended up picking R.L. Stine's Halloween Night. This is a book that I've been I have my eye on for such a long time now, and I figured, hey, what better way to get it than now? So I grabbed it, and this is another one listed in very good condition. Let me get this lifted here. Look at that. That is not very good condition. Like, the corners are messed up and everything. So, again, I contacted them saying, hey, like, this one is still not in very good shape. This is poor condition, in my opinion. So, power to them. They ended up just refunding my money. So, you know, good for them for making it right. It's really annoying, though, when you go on eBay, you expect to get something that's in, quote, very good condition, and then it comes with, like, rips in it and, you know, things like that. Like, that, I just wish people would list things how they, in the condition that they actually are. But either way, the eBay store made it right, so all, you know, things are fine. But, yeah, so anyway, that's the last book I picked up, along with Alias. So this is awesome. You guys, like, I really am excited to dive into this series, so I'm going to prioritize this soon here, and hopefully I enjoy it, because I did go whole hog and grab all of them. But I got these like for $5 each, I think, maybe even $4 on a couple of them, just depending on what they were priced at Ollie's. So yeah, very happy to have the entire Jessica Jones series in my physical collection now. So that is all of the books, including Halloween Night, that I ended up picking up in April. All right, and there they are, everything I grabbed in the physical form, and then, of course, I talked about those 4 audiobooks as well. So it was a really fun month of book buying, like it usually tends to be. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys have read any of these. What should I prioritize? What's maybe not worth my time right now? Let me know those recommendations down in the comments below. I love having more of that conversation with you guys down there. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a like down below and consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. I am making my march toward 1,000, getting closer and closer all the time. So thank you guys so much for your support. If you are not interested in subscribing, then thank you for watching this one anyway. I really do appreciate that. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.